Alright, this video is just going to be some updates to my build and what I've been doing with it. Starting out, I use the Krogs mask for penetration. I also use the Spriggans 2-piece medium armor. Everything's impenetrable, and the Spriggans jewelry as well. And everything is weapon damage enchanted there. Now, my craftable set that I've been using is the Fortified Brass Set. And what this does is it basically just gives you a lot of resistance all the way around, as you can see from the numbers. I use 2 heavy, the chest and the legs, as they give you the most resistance, and then for the medium is everything else. And I've got 4 pieces here, and I've got the additional piece here for using to make the 5-piece complete bonus. I've got a fortified brass shield here that completes the 5-piece bonus, and I also have an axe of the Night Mother, which I had, that I'm using because I've already got the 5-piece bonus completed with the shield, so I can go ahead and do that. Now, the drink that I use is the Dps Cameron Throne. That really helps out a lot, and it gives me added health, added stamina, and stamina recovery. Now, there's a magic version for you magical users out there. The Witch Mother's Potent Brew. It's basically the same thing, only it's geared towards magic. Now, this is basically a build that I've decided to use, taking advantage of heavy attacks, and the reason being is for a Dragon Knight, your molten armaments really increases your heavy attack effectiveness. It increases it by 40%. So basically, get away from this elephant here. Basically, heavy attacks will give you ultimate and stamina back, and having molten armaments really helps make those heavy attacks effective. Then I have Invasion, Reverberating Bash, and Heroic Slash, and Resolving Vigor, and Dawnbreaker of Smiting on this bar. Then on the other bar I've got Executioner, Critical Rush, Dizzying Swing, Volatile Armor. This increases my resistance, and Forward Momentum, which gives me 20% added weapon damage and a little bit of lingering healing, and it helps me to remove snares whenever I need to. Now, I'll get into the weapons for a minute, but I just wanted to show you guys something. I don't think that my user interface is actually registering everything that I actually do. The reason being, I've seen the animations for the mobs dying to disease and that sort of thing, and not had it register here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and you guys can see just what this does. I'm using an axe, which is it has the disease damage on it, the infused trait, which means it's going to proc a lot more, a lot harder, and more often. So that's what I'm using there. I'm using an axe of Night Mother here, but I'm not worried about it because I have a fortified brass shield, which effectively gives me the 5-piece bonus. So starting out, my spell resistance unbuffed is at 24,000. My physical resistance is at 21,000. Now, my physical resistance has jumped up to 26,000, and my spell resistance is at almost 30,000. So, my critical resistance is at 3,000 without the shield. With the shield, it goes up to 3284, as well as my resistances. As you can see, with the shield, I'm at 33k and around 30k there. So, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate a few attacks. And watch closely, as you'll see the glyphs proc and the blade proc as well. This will be a two-handed attack. Okay, you saw how the glyph procced there, and also the blade as well. I forget if I covered this already. And the bleed is procced under this passive where it gives you 9636 physical damage. I'll do this one. You see how high that glyph procced? It procced at like 6.7k. I've had players complain to me that I've hit them with glyphs for like 5.9k. I'm not sure what to think about that. That number seems a little bit high. I would believe 5k, but anyway, you have that happening. Now, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my sword and board bar. Now, for whatever reason, it just doesn't show all the bleed and all the and the glyph proccing sometimes when it does. I'll show you here in a minute. Now all I did there was run a heavy attack into a heroic slash. It went pretty fast. Now watch my armor turn green. Somebody pointed this out to me. I wonder if the armor turning green is a glyph going off and doing poison damage, which is what my weapon is enchanted for, or it's just a natural armor effect. I don't know, but this does seem to go pretty quickly. As you can see, it seems like it has gone a lot faster than maybe it should. Heroic Slash gives you a lot of things, but it's not a huge damage dealer, so you make of it what you want to make of it, I guess. Now these things are dying off pretty fast. What I'm going to do is go back to my home and show you guys some DPS tests. I was using the sword for a long time, and I was told that was the best, and in some ways it is. But if you'll notice, I'm getting a lot higher results with the axe, especially the infused straight. So this will be visible here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the sword first, and I'm going to run a DPS test with that. Hit him 15 times or so. Okay, we'll see in a minute. Okay, we're running just heavy attacks around me, 6,900 or so DPS. Now, there's one thing to keep in mind in doing this test, is this is direct damage, so the test has it'll time out from the last attack. So, under direct damage, it actually gives a better reading for that than it would for a lingering attack or damage over time, which is exactly what the Fortified Brass Set will give you. It'll give you a weapons bleed, and it'll also give you the glyph damage. And these glyphs proc a lot, and they do a lot of damage. So go in here. Okay, let's see what that gives us. Okay, we're sitting at about 8,000. Now, usually it's each test is going to be different, depends on how much you crit and that sort of thing. But and how quickly you grip this one. Alright. We're sitting at 8174 Now typically, I'm going to try this one more time, see if I can get this test to cooperate. Okay, we're up to 8433. I'm not sure why exactly it does this at times. Okay, here's the result here, 9713. If you'll look at the bottom left-hand corner, that's where my scores are showing up. That's been about typical, usually right in the mid 9,000s. So as you can see, the DPS just from the glyph and the bleed really show up quite a bit. Now I'm going to run one more test, and I guess we'll call it good. Okay, gotta wait for the damage over time effects to stop. Now the skeleton is gonna wait a little. My results are 9230 for that. So as you can see, this is really doing quite a bit of damage. I'm just doing a heavy attack into a heroic slash. Okay. DPS is 10.5, so as you can see, that's quite a bit for what I'm doing. So notice here, my armor keeps turning green. I'm just wondering if that poison isn't just going off each and every time. So as you can see, this is kind of the situation I'm playing with here. There I am, 12,000. I don't feel like it should be that high, but it is. So anyway, this is just something for you guys to look at. For a different effect, the infused trait is doing a lot more damage. Now there's one caveat with that. The bleed will proc on a heavy attack or a light attack, and the glyph will go do the same thing typically, except like when you're crit rushing something, that always attack procs. But there you have it. So this is what I've been working on lately, and I think from now on I'm just going to be using the axes instead. So I hope you find this interesting, and this could apply to your archers out there and that sort of thing as well. Getting a bow in the infused trait really just might be the ticket out there. One other thing, I don't know exactly what makes glyphs do a critical strike, but my glyphs are crit striking at about 6.7k. Now, do glyphs count as spell damage? I'm thinking that they probably do, so your spell critical might affect that. Now, if you're a Magicka character with running a lot of crit, having a weapon in the infused trait might just be the ticket out there. So this is something to consider for yourselves. But this is what I've been running. So anyway, I hope this is helpful to you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.